So tonight I want to talk about going to war. Going to war not with China, not with Iran, but going to war with Venezuela because it could be coming sooner than you think. Take a look at this.
Breaking news, a dramatic U.S.-led escalation in the Caribbean. What the Navy calls the largest warship ever built, along with fighter jets, heading to the waters off Latin America.
That's the USS Gerald Ford, the largest warship in the world, and it is sailing in the Caribbean as we speak. And it's not just the Gerald Ford. Look what else is already there.
The list that I've got here of the destroyers that are already there, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 destroyers, a missile cruiser, a guided missile cruiser, sorry. We got the amphibious that you and I spoke about before with the Marines on board, 2 amphibious transport dock ships.
That is enormous firepower. That brings with it thousands of service members, enormous capacity. Those aircraft carry a lot of bombs. That is a lot of capacity to supposedly go after small vessels carrying narcotics. In addition to the largest warship in the world, all of these other U.S. Navy vessels, you also have this in the air.
This is how close B-1 bombers were to Venezuela on Thursday, flying near islands northeast of Caracas. That mission came just a week after B-52 bombers flew near the country in what the Pentagon called an attack demonstration.
The administration would have the country believe that all of this massive firepower is being brought in to stop these drug-running boats. Well, this is not a trafficking route for fentanyl. Fentanyl precursors are made in China, they're shipped to Mexico. A lot of the fentanyl coming into this country, most of the fentanyl comes across the land border from Mexico into the United States. This is not about fentanyl trafficking. It does not appear to be about drug trafficking. It appears to be about regime change in Venezuela. Nicolas Maduro, the dictator in Venezuela, this is about him. This is about the fact that he vastly cheated in the last election, lost the vote overwhelmingly, but by dint of the fact that the military remains behind Maduro, he has stayed in power notwithstanding losing the last election. He is a horrible human being. He is a human rights violator of the worst kind. This is about changing that regime. If it's about changing the regime and going to war to do it, then come to Congress and ask for the authority, which they have not done, which is a gross violation of the Constitution and laws in the use of force that they've already undertaken. They've killed now over 60 people on these various ships that they have used our military technology to blow out of the water, and that is in patent violation of the law. Now, Tim Kaine and Rand Paul and I have introduced legislation to put an end, to essentially put Congress on record saying you cannot continue to use force. We're not authorizing this. This is in violation of the Constitution. I authored the last resolution. We came up 2 votes short of passage. We had 2 Republicans support it, so it was bipartisan. I am hoping with this second resolution that we can succeed. But why all the subterfuge if this is what this is all about? And the subterfuge, I think, is for this reason. Here's Donald Trump talking about starting new wars during his campaign.
But we had no wars. They said, he will start a war. I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars.
So he promised the MAGA base that this time it would be different. Here he is again.
We will stop racing to topple foreign, and you understand this, foreign regimes that we know nothing about.
And because the MAGA base doesn't want us to be initiating new wars, in fact, it's not just the MAGA base, the American people don't want us initiating a new war. We have all of this obfuscation by the president and by the Pentagon. In fact, here's what the spokesman for the State Department had to say. The U.S. is engaged in a counter-drug cartel operation, and any claim that we are coordinating with anyone on anything other than this targeted effort is completely false. Now, that's very carefully worded because it talks about coordinating with people on the ground to do something beyond counter-narcotics. Whether it is true or not doesn't, of course, preclude the very real possibility that this is all about regime change. It's not exactly a denial that that is their motivation. And in fact, the president has been openly speaking about going beyond the striking of these ships to striking land targets in Venezuela.
And even the land is concerned because I told them that's going to be next. You know, the land is going to be next.
And what we may have here is an effort to bootstrap a supposed counter-narcotics effort into a full-fledged war to displace the Maduro regime. We strike boats first. The president then says we may strike land next. And in the context of that military conflict, it is hoped that maybe the Venezuelan military will turn on Maduro and it won't involve any utilization of U.S. boots on the ground. So where does all this lead us? Well, tragically, it may lead us into war. Whether war is the object or war is the tool that is going to be used to try to displace the Maduro regime, it may nonetheless lead us to war. I hope it doesn't happen, but hope is not a strategy. And in the Congress of the United States, we need, on a bipartisan basis, to reassert Congress's power to declare war, to authorize war, or to refuse to authorize the use of military force. That will be tested once again. We expect our resolution to come up within the next couple weeks, and I hope it passes. Otherwise, we may see ourselves in a full-blown conflict with Venezuela. So thanks for watching tonight's video. We started doing these nightly videos as a way of identifying something really important that happened today or this week, what we should make of it, and how we can fight back. As you can see, I like to include movie clips. If you have any suggestions for other movie clips I should include in future videos, please share them with us. And thank you for following along.